Welcome to On Air with Russell of Hotels, where we talk about everything hospitality, from hotels to influencers and everything in between. We will feature guest interviews with hospitality professionals who will share their experiences. Your host, Russell Edmond, has spent over 25 years in the hospitality industry, beginning his career with Marriott International in hotel operations before moving into the sales arena and becoming a relationship building director of sales and marketing. Russell then went to the other side as a hospitality entrepreneur. He now consults in the hotel and meeting space, which includes being the CEO of Russell of Hotels Group. Did I mention he was a veggie foodie? Yes. Russell is always looking for good non-meat eats. Please welcome your host, Russell Edmond.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels live hospitality talk show. Hope all is well. Happy Tuesday. You guys are probably wondering, what the heck is he doing with that hat on? That's not what he normally does. That's not his normal look. Okay, well, as you can see from the captions I just posted, you know what? Being from a small town, you know what? When there's something good going on, you have to celebrate it, and you have to acknowledge it. So today, I am acknowledging that my alma mater, my high school alma mater. Let's stand corrected. Let me throw it out there. My high school alma mater. I can't even speak today. Anyway, my old high school alma mater, Palo Verde High School in Blythe, California. They won the CIF San Diego section. They're the San Diego section champions. So congratulations to them. But it doesn't stop there, right? They have one more game next week or this coming Friday for the Southern California championship. Okay, they play John Muir High School from Pasadena. Okay, so yeah, they're in the San Diego section of their league. So they won their league, right? They went like 13. The total record now is like 13-1. Okay, so they went through league. I think they lost one league game, and then got into the playoffs, which is their section is the San Diego section. And they beat everybody. They beat up everybody. Okay, I mean they were scoring probably average of 40 points a game. And the crazy thing, the thing that that I have to point out is that these schools, they had to beat on the road, right? Now, if you know where Blythe is and how remote Blythe is, and having to go to San Diego area every game to play, right? So it's at least 2.5, probably 3-hour drive, okay? So bus ride, all right? So throw that in there, throw that in the mix as well, and then beat teams like like I said, they score probably 35 to 40 points a game, and they were whooping these teams. They weren't just squeaking by; they were whooping these teams. Okay, so congratulations to Palo Verde High. I went there. It's funny. It's only one high school in Blythe. Okay, so it's a big deal. Okay, it's not just a big deal for the high school. It's a big deal for the town or the city of Blythe. So congratulations to everyone there. But the crazy thing is, there's generations of people that went to the same high school. Okay. My parents went to the same high school, although back in their day it was called Blythe High, but it's only one high school. So they just moved it and changed the name to Palo Verde, it sits in the Palo Verde Valley. So that's where the name Palo Verde comes from. But like I said, my parents, my brother, my sister, aunts, uncles, cousins, everyone went to the same high school. So that's why it's a big deal. We didn't win it, we didn't even make the playoffs when I was, when I was playing back in the day. So it is a huge deal. So congratulations to Palo Verde High School Yellow Jackets. I can't make it to the game. If I was going to be in town, I definitely would be there coming up. But I can't make it. It's on Friday, and I would love to see them beat John Muir. But don't worry, I'll keep you posted what's going on. So that's the reason why I have the hat, okay, repping my colors, repping my school, but I can only wear it during this segment. So I have to take my hat off and then move on because, as you can see, I have a green screen in back, okay? So, and guess what color the hat is? The hat is green as well, so it won't show up. It won't illuminate like it's supposed to. So, but thank you guys so much. I appreciate that, and I appreciate the comments that are coming in. And remember, this show is all about engagement, interaction. So please feel free to make your comments, and I'll make sure I'll address them. If all else, you'll get a shout out. Okay, if I don't do anything else, you're gonna get a shout out. So Dylan, thank you so much. Playoff game Friday 12. Yep, that's right. Versus John Muir from Pasadena. And then Paul Howe, thank you so much. He says nice job. So yeah, nice job to the kids out there, the coach. And I didn't mention this. This is 2 in a row, right? This is 2 CIF San Diego section champions in a row, all right? Championships in a row. So like 3 is like a dynasty, right? Or maybe 2. If they win the I guess it's a dynasty, right? Don't let them win the state too. Last year they got beat in the Southern California, the one that they're playing on Friday. They got beat in that game last year. So, but it doesn't take away that they're CIF San Diego section champions. So I think one more would be a dynasty. Okay, so that's what we're looking for. But way to go, Palo Verde High. Appreciate you guys, the hard work that you put in, because I know it's hot out there. So I used to train out there, so I know it's hot as heck. I'll just say hot as heck, right? People always ask me, they go, "Where's Blythe at?" Blythe, I say, it's, off the 10 freeway, going towards Arizona. So it's 4 miles from Arizona. So it's the last town. If you're going east on the 10 freeway, and a lot of people have done this, right? It's past Palm Springs. Okay, so is that the no? It's an hour and a half east of Palm Springs. So it's the last city or town in California as you're crossing over the river, Colorado River, going into Arizona. And people always say, "Well, is that the end of the world?" I said, "No, it's not the end of the world, but you can see it from there." Okay. I had to throw that in there. Oh boy, that was a good one. But anyway, no, thank you so much. I appreciate the comments. Dylan says they're really good. Their only loss was a non-league game by 1 point. Yes, that's right. See, Dylan's sitting here looking at all the stats. Okay, what is that? But no, I appreciate that, Dylan. No, thank you so much. But let me do a quick. I just have to take my hat off, my helmet off. Helmet. Sorry about that. I have to take that because when I switch screens, it's not going to be the green screen. So there you go. And that wouldn't show up. You would see all kind of fuzziness, and I'm not trying to, create some fuzziness. They'd be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? What kind of show is this? So, but hold on one second. I can still see some. See, that's the thing. You gotta sometimes on the fly. Ooh, I think I got it. Yeah, sometimes on the fly you have to adjust it. See, that's one thing about this. I use this Ecamm Live where you're able to, on the fly during the show, make adjustments. Okay, so there's a little fuzziness on the screen, so I was able to click it and eliminate it. And if I wanted to move this right here, I can move that up, like in a post-pandemic event. Yeah, I can move that up on the fly, right? So there you go. But hey, so hope everyone is well. Did I say that already? Yeah, I think so. But thank you guys so much for joining on air. I want to thank specifically the people that are on the podcast. The podcast comes out later, but it's on anywhere you listen to your favorite podcast. So if you didn't want to see me and all my antics, you can just listen to the podcast and like, what, I can take him just listening to him. I don't want to see him. I don't want to see what he's doing, but I just want to just listen to him. So feel free, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, you're more than welcome to do that. We are live here on LinkedIn as well as YouTube, and I appreciate everybody there. And I would appreciate if you guys, whoever is on YouTube, go there and subscribe. You hit that little subscribe button, bing, and then every time that I go live, you get a little notification, right? You're like, oh, shoot, Russell was going live. Let me go see what the heck he's talking about. That dude is good. That dude is funny. Yeah, whatever. I'm on a roll, as you can see. So, but anyway, industry news, right? So you can see a couple of things that I put out there in a post-pandemic event industry, what to expect. Okay, so now this is something that these are my thoughts, but I didn't write this, right? So I was reading, something, industry magazine earlier, and I said, hey, man, that's exactly what I want to say. That's exactly what I think, right? So, but somebody else already wrote it or it's already been written. So I didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So I just have to read it, right? So I'm gonna read this. So it's like a couple of paragraphs I'm gonna read, and then maybe I'll just throw a little, I'll say some, I'll make a comment after, or maybe not. Maybe it'll just be self-explanatory. I don't have to say anything. But it's by Sharon Bonner. Sharon Bonner is an event strategist. Okay, so a post-pandemic event industry. Due to uncertainty, clients are planning their events with short or often unreasonable lead times. This is putting a tremendous strain on the industry and our vendors. The event industry is playing catch up from 2 years of postponed or canceled events. This means that there is a shortage of available venues as contracts from the pandemic have rolled over to current times, which means, people who were planning events like during the pandemic year, so those meetings couldn't take place. So what they're doing is those same events that are supposed to happen in 2020 are rolling over. 2020, 2021 are all rolling over to now and then in the future, which is causing an effect where there's not enough, there's not enough venues, there's not enough space, and then of course prices are going up because if there's not enough space, of course you're going to have to pay a premium for the space that is available, right? Or whenever you get it, and you need to make sure you're signing contracts as soon as possible, because if you don't, you're going to lose the space. Because if believe me, if it's a popular destination, popular hotel, you're not the only one that wants that space. There's probably 2 or 3 other clients that are in back of you that if you don't take that space, they're going to take it. Okay, so if you got the first option, you better exercise your first option rights and sign that agreement. Okay, along with a shortage of venue space, we are all experiencing a devastating labor shortage paired with supply chain issues, making our job more challenging. Hotels and unique venues are struggling with inexperienced staff to the industry and sometimes learning on the job. I've seen that. Several event companies are turning down jobs as they cannot secure the appropriate caliber and quality of catering staff to support their events. So, this is still going on. So people think that, oh, well, it's over and I see meetings are happening. But no, meetings are happening, things are going on, but there's still a shortage of employees, and there's a shortage of good employees, right? Remember, during the pandemic, people were laid off, people were furloughed, people, retired or went to other industries. Well, it still hasn't been, we haven't replenished, the shortages. Okay, so there's people that are coming back to work, but some of those people are not seasoned. So, when I always say pack your patience, when you travel, you got to pack your patience when you're having these meetings, because everything it's not going to be the same. Okay, it's going to take a while for people to get up to par, up to speed with, the experience levels and how to service clients and hospitality that we always talk about. Those things are lagging. Okay, not to mention if Lonnie Wolf was on here, he'd be talking about cleanliness too. So a lot of things are lagging. Okay, so you got to be patient. Okay, so how do we cope? So given all that, how do we cope with this? Adapting to the uncertain world of event planning today requires a certain finesse as we navigate through new and foreign planning methods. Having a backup plan now for everything is a must. Gone are the days of knowing every single detail of your event months in advance. As experienced planners, we have now learned to be ready to use our plan B or even a plan C. Okay, so it's not just having a backup plan, it's having a backup for the backup. Okay, so things have changed, right? So we have to adapt. Part of your risk assessment plan has to include labor shortages and supply chain issues so that we can be ready for the inevitable. If and when it happens, this shift is post-pandemic events has also significantly impacted event budgets. So budgets have gone up. Clients are reducing or adjusting budgets due to the added cost of virtual event technology. This financial change comes as in-person events become too expensive for organizations to host. So, Will it go back to, everyone meeting, being in the same room and all that stuff? On a much smaller scale. Okay, and I've always said this: the days of the large meetings for the next, 5, maybe even 10 years, I think those are gone away for a minute. Okay, now there's going to be some one-offs or some companies that they're going to do large meetings regardless. Okay, I understand that, but I'm talking about the bulk of the meetings that are going to be happening are not going to be your large conventions and conferences and all this where everybody's coming in, because companies have figured out a way. Well, they haven't figured it out, but they see that it's cost effective. And are they just as productive? I mean, that goes with the company. I don't know. You have to ask the company representatives, say, hey, are you guys more productive now that you're having virtual meetings, or maybe half virtual and half in person, that kind of thing. So but like I said, it's going to take some time to get back. With the popularity of virtual events increasing, in-person audiences are growing smaller and may one day be VIP experiences. Wow. And like I said, I didn't say this. This is someone else who said that. While we all love the feeling of being in a room with our colleagues, the expense of providing this experience may become cost prohibitive, which makes adding a virtual component necessary to reach the event's goals and objectives. That's one thing you had to ask. What are the goals and objectives of this meeting or this event that's happening? What are you trying to reach? What are you trying to do? What are you trying to achieve? That's what we need, as meeting professionals. What is their goal? What are their goals? What are they trying to reach? Because, of course, hotel people and meeting planner people, because our commission is based on what is booked, right? We all want the world, right? We all want our space to be filled, our rooms to be heads in beds, restaurants to be cranking, food and beverage, everything. We all want that to be full, right? But for every hotel, like I said, there's going to be some hotels that, they're going to still be experiencing that, but there's going to be a lot of hotels that aren't going to be experiencing the larger meetings, right? So, and remember, there's more supply coming in. Just because we always forget this, a lot of hotels forget this, a lot of companies forget this, that just because meetings are coming back does not mean they're going to necessarily pick your hotel. Why not? Because there's other supplies that are coming to that your competition or your comp set, meaning there's other hotels that have opened. Okay, so I'll just use LA as an example. Downtown LA, right? There's probably another 2,300 rooms that have come or that are coming online by the end of this year, downtown. Okay, if it's not this year, it may be the first quarter of next year. Okay, so you got 2 huge Marriott properties that are coming on, about 750 rooms total. And then that's not to mention some of the smaller hotels that are converted office buildings and things like that are coming up too. And then not to mention the new Hilton, Conrad Hilton on Bunker Hill that opened up. That's another 250 rooms. So there's more supply that's coming on. So which means there's greater competition, right? So what do you do? What do you need to do to separate yourself from your competition? I don't know. That's up to you, right? I have ideas, but I have ideas, but I'm gonna save that for later, right? So, So while we love the feeling of being in a room with our colleague, the expense of providing this experience may become cost prohibitive, which makes adding a virtual component necessary to reach the event's goals and objectives. So I had to add that one more time because that's an important part of this thing. Because we all want to be in the room with everybody, right? Like back in the day, right? I want to hug and touch some people. I want to reach out and touch some people. I want to have a drink with them, all that. Yeah, and we're starting slowly to get back to that. But the bulk of that, the majority of that, it's going to take some time to get back. So just something to think about. And once again, thanks Sharon Bonner. She's an award-winning event strategist, has over 3 decades of producing corporate events. So thank you so much for that information. So I wanted to share that. So there you go. All right. So what do you guys think about that? No one's saying anything. I get crickets now. No one's talking. Okay. Anyway, that's fine. The next one. See, so now that I talk about those 2 things, boom, make them disappear. Boom. There you go. Okay. And I can move this up. Okay. That's the next man. This Ecamm. I got a. In fact, in mentioning Ecamm, I just happened to get because every now and then and you guys get this when you subscribe to certain platforms or whatever. I got a notification, an email just a couple of minutes ago before I went on air, and it came from Ecamm. They said, "Hey, thank you for making some positive comments about how Ecamm has saved my life in the world of podcasts or whatever, something like that." And they said, "Hey, we'll give you a $35 gift card if you like do a testimonial, right? There's like 4 questions I got to answer, and I have to videotape it." I'm like, heck yeah, for a $35 gift card? I hope it's Starbucks. You know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, where do I sign up? So I clicked and saw the questions. I didn't have a chance to do it, but I definitely will do that, especially if it's a product that you use, a product service that you use that works. I mean, I've used probably 3 different platforms for this show, and Ecamm is the most consistent, and it's only for Macs, okay, Mac products, okay. So I have a Mac Pro that I'm utilizing, right? So, yeah, it works fine for me, right? It works perfect. So it does all these things. I can do things on the fly. Am I trying to give Ecamm some more promo? No, I'm not trying to do that. I'm just letting you know that's what I think of it. Okay, I don't know where that came from, but anyway, Hyatt's $300 million purchase of Dream Hotels. Now, there's a couple of Dream Hotels. Well, there's one here in LA, and New York. A couple of them. Well, Hyatt just spent $300 million. They say, hey, we're about to buy them. But, Dream is a lifestyle brand, and Hyatt is getting more into that lifestyle. So I think that's a perfect marriage, right? So I think that's good. So 300, they got, they're going to spend $300 million. It's 12 managed hotels that they have now, 12 of them physical that they have, and then another 24 signed to long-term management agreements. Okay, so I guess in the next year they'll expand like 1,700 room nights. As far as that lifestyle portfolio for Hyatt. So way to go, Hyatt. So do your thing. Okay, so and the cities that they have these hotels, or the destinations that they currently have Dream Hotels, is Nashville, Los Angeles, Miami Beach, Durham, North Carolina, several in New York, and one in the Catskills region of New York. So there you go. So way to go, Hyatt. Do your thing. Moving right along. Let's see. Oh, that was just a copy. Did I mention it was show number 185? Okay, well, if I didn't, just think, I got like 15 more, right? And it's like 200, show 200. What am I going to do for show 200? Nothing. I'm going to do the same thing I did for show 185. I'm going to come on live and say, hey, this is show 200. Yay! And keep it going. But no, that's definitely a blessing that I'm able to do this. I can continue to do it. 185. I always say this. I remember when I first did number 1 back on the 23rd of January in 2019, right? So it was, I was like, what am I doing? What's going on? But, then people actually were listening to it or watching it, because before it was a podcast. It was a legitimate podcast, meaning there's no visual, there's no video. It was an audio thing only, right? With LA Talk Radio. So I was like, hello, like I was on the radio, you know what I mean? So, but then it evolved. It evolved to Facebook Live, and then I left them and did other things, meaning I left the radio station and I started doing this on my own, and then just started adding things. Got a new laptop. Got the Rodecaster. The Rodecaster is my road dog, right? So I rely on the Rodecaster to do all this stuff for me, to record, to the sound. Yeah, that's for the Rodecaster, right? So, Rodecaster gives itself an applause every now and then. So to do my intros and my exit, I mean, it allows me to do all that stuff just with a touch of a button, right? So there you go. And I can hook up, like, even if people are not here, the Rodecaster enables me to do remote interviews, right? So it doesn't matter if they're here or not. If they're here, that's wonderful. I can plug up a microphone just like this one, and they can talk if they're right across from them. But how often does that happen? So I've had this. I've used this Rodecaster for people all over the world, right? So they can just call in and they can just talk to me, just like you and I have a conversation, just like you can hear me now. It's via Bluetooth. So I'm like, this is crazy, right? And I didn't realize it had all this capability until I bought it, right? I'm like, oh, it does this, oh, it does that. And yeah, so the Rodecaster paired with Ecamm, you know what? That's a match made in heaven. Okay, so anyway, am I promoting them enough now? Rodecaster, Ecamm, and MacBook Pro. Okay, so that's three things that I've just promoted. I need to get a check. Okay, anyway, moving forward. Okay, these are three things that I always mention. Be intentional, make decisions, and take action on what's important to you. Always, whatever is important to you, whatever that is, like it's important that I do this show, right? So make sure you just take action and make it happen, right? Be you, always be yourself, right? Don't try to be someone else. I don't mind doing lives. I don't mind, people, whatever, comments, whatever. I'm going to keep doing what I do because I'm going to keep being me. Okay. So there you go. Just be you, put out your own content. Don't try to put someone else's. And if you're putting someone else's out, make sure you give them credit for it. Just like I gave this young lady credit, Miss Sharon Bonner, who wrote that wonderful article about, a post-pandemic event industry. I think that's important. It's important that we as hoteliers know that. It's important that we as meeting planners or meeting professionals know that too, what people are thinking, right? Or what's going on. Or now they put it actually in the words. I mean, people will say a lot of things, but for someone to come out with basically a whole article or paragraph about, where the industry is going, I think that's important. Or where it has come from, where we're going, how do we, the issues that we're having. Okay, there's issues, but hey, okay, how do we overcome those issues? Have more of a plan. I mean, make sure if you have a shaky plan, make sure it's a solid plan now. If you got, you think things will go wrong and you got a plan B, well, maybe your plan B will go wrong and you got to have a plan C. So those are things we just have to be ready for, right? It's being proactive and not just reacting to an issue. So boom, there you go. And number 3, be represented because my representation matters. Yes, it's important to me that I do this show, right? It's important that people that look like me do this show or know that I do this show because it teaches them that they can do it too, right? It teaches anybody that's watching the show, well, shoot, if Russell can do it, I sure can do it because Russell don't know crap, okay? So, oh boy, I'm on one today. But no, it just teaches people that you can do whatever you set your mind to. Don't take no for an answer. Just keep it moving. Whatever your goals are, you can achieve those goals, right? And was it always a goal for me to be a podcaster or have a live hospitality talk show or to be a hospitality personality? No, it wasn't. It was something that happened, right? Then I said, well, hey, I can do this. I can do that. I have something to say. The 30 years of experience that I've amassed in this hotel industry, from housekeeping manager to front office to food and beverage to AGM, to director of sales and marketing, to general manager, back to director of sales and marketing, which was my first love anyway. I don't know why I took the GM job in the first place, but all those things, those are experiences that no one can take from you or to take from me, right? And I can share those experiences there. And I was telling somebody the other day, I said, I'm sure there's nothing that has happened in a hotel that I have not experienced. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on at a hotel that, it may be a larger hotel, smaller hotel, whatever. There's crap that goes on all the time that people just don't even realize. Like, what? That happens? You only knew, from employees to crazy guests to you just the stuff that you just wouldn't even imagine. You just wouldn't even imagine that the stuff that can happen. You know what I mean? So, wow, to dogs that are out of control. Well, that's a service dog, and it's a pit bull that's like barking at everything that walks by. That's not a service dog. They don't even have the right temperament, or this particular dog. These are experiences that I'm talking about, right? Being almost attacked by dogs, things like that. So it's just crazy. But this is an industry that I chose, right? And this industry that a lot of people have chosen, and we love it, right? So, like I said, there's no 2 days alike. A lot of people can say that, but really, there's no 2 minutes alike in the hotel. I see Lonnie Wolf. Good afternoon, Russell of Hotels, all participants. Hey, Lonnie, appreciate you. Okay, so what was I saying? Be intentional, make decisions, and take action on what's important to you. Be you and be represented because my representation matters, or your representation matters, however you want to take that. Do-do-do. Miss Davon Reeves. I talk about this every week. I'll be doing this until the end of the year. Miss Davon Reeves, How to Buy a Hotel. So I bought her book, and if you wanted to know how to buy a hotel, you need to check out this book, right? It's available on Amazon, I believe, or just Google Davon Reeves, and you can find the information about how to buy it. But she basically highlights a roadmap to hotel ownership. And I'm gonna tell you this. This is the most comprehensive book out there. Okay, the most comprehensive book out there on buying a hotel. All right, I mean from A to Z. Okay, and everything in between. From an investor standpoint to people that want to join you in investing, to getting your team together, to getting your financial team together, to questions to ask, to tips to buying a hotel, location is number one. Number two, the brand. What type of brand should you purchase or franchise or whatever you call it. So those things are important. And what about number three, hiring the right operator? Do you want to operate it yourself? Do you want a management company? No two management companies are alike, right? It's not one management company fits all, right? I worked for probably, I'm going to say 5 or 6 different management companies, and all of them are different, right? Some of them cater to, hotel owners that have multiple hotels, right? Some of them cater to maybe mom and pop kind of thing. So it just depends on what you want. But those are things you have to interview the management companies, right? They're not just going to come to you and say, because everybody wants your business, right? But it's about you and what you're comfortable with. So if I'm a new owner and I don't know anything about running a hotel or a P&L statement or what to look for and all that stuff, well, I need someone that's going to take their time and basically hold my hand, right? Through the whole process of everything. And there's companies out there to do that, right? So just remember, if you want to operate yourself and work and live on property, you can do that too, right? So just remember, these are all options. These are things that we need to think about when we're buying a hotel. But even if you're not buying a hotel, you just want an interesting read on, maybe someone that has bought a hotel and you don't know, he or she never told you how they bought it. Well, this is a comprehensive guideline, worksheet, workshop to do it, okay? So, and then follow Davon Reeves on Instagram. I think she's on LinkedIn, but definitely Instagram because she does a lot of trainings. So it's not just like I did this book and that's it. No, she's actively involved in growing hotel ownership, primarily especially for minorities, okay? Did I tell you she's a woman that's 35 years old? Okay, I failed to mention that, right? So did I tell you she was black? Not that matters, but she is, okay? So it's important that, that she's doing her thing and that we highlight some of those good things that she's doing. Okay, so there you go. Boop. So let's see. Who's your best brand advocate? Well, you should be, right? You should be your best brand advocate. So as much as I just talked about Davon Reeves, she should be her best brand advocate, right? She should be, shouting from the rooftop, shouting from the Hollywood sign saying, hey, I'm, Davon Reeves and this is my brand, right? Just like I should be doing that as well, right? So that's where, all the postings and the lives that I do and this show, right? Because I'm my best brand advocate. I can't count on everybody else to help me out, right? To put the pom-poms in rah, rah, rah. No, I have to do it myself, right? You have to be self-driven, self-motivated to be a brand and to be your best advocate, right? And I always say, because people ask me, why do you post so much? I see you posting, now you're doing lives, now you do a show, now you do this. Did you choose hospitality? Did hospitality choose you? I said, yeah. And why do you do that? I said, well, it's not for the people that already follow me. It's for the people that don't follow me. Let that percolate and marinate for a minute, okay? So it's not about the people that follow me, it's about the people that don't. Because the people that don't even know I exist, right? So I appreciate everybody that follows me now and they see me and they like and make comments, but I'm trying to reach the people that don't follow me, okay? Because those are people that I need to reach. That those are people that need to know what I do, right? So that's why I post things like I do. And I always say, I always, miss opportunities for companies and organizations that don't do it. I mean, shame on you. You know what I mean? The opportunities are there. The platform is there for you to be your best brand advocate if you choose to do it. If you don't choose to do it, well, then blame. Then when sales aren't going as well, or no one knows who you are, that you exist, and your competition is eating you up, then you have no one else to blame but you, because the opportunities are there. So let's say I'm in a meeting with the ownership, and ownership is like, well, what are you doing to to promote this brand? And you go everything else, but you're not talking about anything on social media. That's a problem. That is a huge problem, right? So think about it like that. Ownership is calling you on the carpet. You've been doing the same things that you've been doing for the last 10, 15 years. The same stuff that doesn't fly anymore. You got to be a little bit more creative about what you do. Even on social media, you got to be creative about how you do it. You know what I mean? So it's not just like one post fits all. I put something out there last week. What are you talking about? I did something. Yeah, okay. Consistency is the key. Dylan says you should open a non-meat turkey leg hut next to the famous turkey leg stand. Cash and vegan style. Okay, yeah, okay. I don't know what the heck that had to do with what I'm talking about. But thanks, Dylan. Appreciate it. So who is your best brand advocate? Just make sure you know that's you, and do everything you have to do to advocate for your brand. Now, the brand starts with you, right? But if you work for a brand, then make sure you're advocating for them as well, right? But it starts with you first, okay? So there you go. Quote. Now, I did this quote for the last 2 weeks. I'm doing it again, okay? I have more, but I like this one. Hospitality salespeople should aspire to be synonymous with the brand they represent. That just went back to being your best brand advocate almost, right? So it kind of mirrors that. It kind of, whatever. It kind of supports that. So hospitality salespeople should aspire to be synonymous with the brand they represent. So when people see Russell of Hotels, they automatically should think about Russell Ebb. Oh, I know Russell. Yeah, he used to work, blah, blah, blah. We worked together years ago, blah, 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 blah. And, just like if Dylan, they see Dylan's name. Oh, Dylan's the general manager at the Fairfield Inn by Marriott in Eugene, Oregon. Or they happen to be driving by the Fairfield Inn by Marriott in Eugene, Oregon. They said, oh, wait a minute, Dylan is the GM there. I mean, that's what I mean, synonymous. You can't think about one person without thinking about the brand they represent. So that's what I mean, synonymous with that. So you really don't have to be the best brand advocate. You can also pay Russell to do it. Finally, you have something that makes sense, Dylan. Yeah, Dylan, right on key, right? Yeah. Yeah, you definitely can. Yeah, of course. That's what I do, right? I mean, content creator extraordinaire, right? Especially when it comes to the hospitality hotel space. So, yeah, if you don't want to be your best brand advocate, I can be your best brand advocate, of course. So reach out and touch. I'll give you my information at the end of the show, and you can reach out and touch, and then I can, go ahead and make sure I'm your best brand advocate, or I can do it for you, okay? Basically, is what Dylan is trying to say. So, yeah, that's what I do as well. So, increase social media engagement. I've been talking about social media for the last 5-10 minutes, right? So, how do you increase social media engagement? So, consistency. Remember I said be consistent. You can't just post one time 2 weeks ago like, well, wait a minute, I posted 2 weeks ago. This thing, it didn't do anything. Well, no, you ain't going to get anything if you post every 2 weeks, all right? Be consistently. Whatever that schedule is, it has to be more than 2 weeks, okay? 2 weeks, between postings is not good, okay? let's try it like once a week. Let's try it once a week. Start off somewhere. Start wherever you are, right? But start like once a week, consistently doing something. If that's posting, if that's lives. You don't know how to post, you contact. That's when you contact someone like Russell of Hotels, and he will teach you how to post things and how to be consistent, how to get yourself on the schedule, how to take multiple photos and videos of everything, not just in your property or on property, away from your property, right? What else is going on in your area? What are the traffic generators? Why do people come there? What's your story? Okay. How did that hotel start? How'd you start? How'd you get to where you are? People love stories, right? You got to get engaged and involved in that. Storytelling is the key in social media, right? So how did Russell of Hotels get started? Well, I told you a while ago, I started, as my first job was with Marriott as a housekeeping manager. Yeah, I was a housekeeping manager. And 14 years later, or 13 years later, 13 hotels later, I became a general manager. Okay. And then my 14th hotel, I was a director of sales and marketing again, that for the second time, right? Well, left and came back kind of thing. And then from there, I started Russell of Hotels. Well, I started some other stuff. Then Russell of Hotels was evolved out of some of the stuff that I was doing because I felt that I can reach more people or help more people within the space than just working with one hotel. Okay, so that was my goal, right? So I'm like, I kind of saw the writing on the wall, like, you know what? This has been cool, but how can I make an impact, not just on one hotel that I'm working at, but from multiple hotels? And that's how Russell of Hotels was birthed. So, but anyway, consistency is the key, right? So consistency. The second one is value. Make sure you're adding value to someone, right? Make sure you're reaching that person, or if all you gotta do is reach one person, okay? You ain't never gonna reach everybody, okay? That's why when it gets back to reaching people, right, on social media, right? It's for the people that don't know you exist. Remember I said that a little while ago? Well, that's it. So you're never gonna add value to everyone because everyone is not gonna need what you have to sell them or what you're talking about. Okay, so I'm doing this show and there's people out there that even on the replay they were like, well, I don't need that. Okay, that's fine. It's entertaining, but I really don't need that. But there's gonna be some people out there, 2 or 3, 5, 6, whatever, that actually want what you're saying, or there's value to what you just said or what I just said, right? So, but you got to be consistent. And sometimes you have to mix your messages, not mixed messages, but you got to take that same message and mix it on other platforms, okay? Because you can't just do one platform and think you're gonna add value or reach the right person or reach the right people. That's why I use multiple platforms. You never want to just say, oh, I'm just going to use Instagram and that's it, okay? Well, you're going to reach people on Instagram, but what if your true client is on YouTube and they don't watch Instagram? So you don't know that until you experiment, do your marketing homework. You know what I mean? You have to do different things to see. And one thing that I do, like on Instagram, if I do postings and normally those postings get several hundred or 1,000 whatever views or responses or whatever, and I don't get any, well, I did something wrong then. Then I have to go back, look at that posting and say, okay, I did something wrong and I need to change that. Okay, so, but the key is the consistency, value, and what else? Gets back to this authentic thing and being real and being you. So consistency, value, authentic. Okay, be you. That's how you can increase social media engagement. And how do you do that? I mean, what tools do you use? I mean, you gave me those 3 things, but are there certain tools that you can use? Yeah, of course there are. I use stories, reels, lives. Okay, so I use all 3 platforms, not all 3 platforms. I use Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. Those are most consistent that I use. I do post on Facebook. Occasionally I do TikTok. Okay, occasionally. It depends on what it is. But the main 3 that I use, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. Okay, LinkedIn probably more than anything. Okay, so but stories, and then what I do is cross promote, right? So I may do a story, a reel, a live on Instagram, but I'll take that same video or the same posting and post it on different platforms. Okay, so there you go. So those are the three things that you use. YouTube has a thing called YouTube Shorts that are similar. And short, let me just mention this: short form videos is what's going on. That's what's happening now. People want more short term, meaning less than a minute. So my sweet spot, I think, is about 40 seconds or maybe a little less if I can do that. So I take little clips of videos. It can be a long video, but I'll just take clips of that and put them together. And like you cut it down to like, say this video was like a minute. Like I have 5 videos that are like a minute each. Okay. So I don't want all that, right? So I'll just condense them down to something, maybe something important in what they're saying or what the video is or whatever. I'll narrow it down to like 5 seconds. So now instead of 5 minutes, it's like 25 seconds. Because I did 5 videos, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Oh, that's how I do it. I just cut them down like 5 seconds a piece, or maybe 6, whatever it is, and I put them together, and that's the video. And then always at the end, I have my logo on there, right? So you'll know who actually did it. Boom, there you go. So those are things that I use. Those are things. If I'm talking another language, that's when you call me and say, hey, you mentioned this. How do you do this? Blah, 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 blah. We can have a conversation. Dylan says, you really don't have to be the best brand ever. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought that was another comment. But it wasn't. Who's hiring? And non-meat eats. I've been on this mushroom kick. Speaking of non-meat eats, I've been on this mushroom kick. So lion's mane, oyster, king, mushrooms. I've been on this kick. So today is Taco Tuesday. I'm trying to figure out. I'm going to do probably some jackfruit tacos, okay? Jackfruit, you guys know jackfruit. It's a fruit that can have some, you shred it, kind of has a consistency of it can be like a pulled pork kind of thing. It can have a consistency like that. That's the closest thing that I can, the people that would know. I mean, you know what pulled pork is, right? So it has somewhat the consistency of that. It doesn't taste like it, no, but it does have the consistency. So who's hiring? Okay, only one person that I saw. Ace Hotel, downtown LA. They're looking for a director of sales and marketing. Ace Hotel, downtown LA. So just reach out in touch. And I think that job is on. I just saw them posted. See, I get the inside, because I know people, on the inside. So I got the inside, but it is posted on. What is it posted on? HCareers and Indeed.com. So check out those. But that's how you would apply. If you have any questions about that position, and like I said, I got insight on that. So give me a call, email me, and I can give you the insight. I can't give it to the entire world. I'm not going to do this on the show, but I will let you know that they are looking for a director of sales and marketing. But if you want some information about it, I can give you some more information. Mushrooms are said to have a lot of health benefits. So do you notice any difference? No. You know what? I don't know. Any difference of like more energy? Do I get full faster? I mean, not necessarily. I mean, they're good. I do love them. But I don't know if I get any health benefits. I couldn't even answer that question, Dylan, but they are very good. They are feeling, they're versatile, right? You can do a lot of different things depending on how you prepare them and cook them. Like king mushrooms are huge and they can be grated like cheese and they give that like a stringy consistency. And I can use that as a pulled pork too. So you can cook those with peppers or whatever, throw some barbecue sauce on it, whatever. You can put them in tacos, burritos. You can, however you do, whatever. This is what I try to do. I try to veganize any recipe that I have, right? So if that's whatever, I try to veganize whatever. So instead of using meat, I'll use a mushroom, right? So what mushroom comes, close to that? So like if I had a barbecue pulled pork sandwich, okay, I'm like, well, how can how can I duplicate that? How can I veganize it? Okay, I can do what I just say. I can use the king mushrooms. I can shred that, right? That's one, and I can use the shredded jackfruit. Those are two things that I can prepare to make something similar, because that's what vegan and vegetarian people, they want something similar to what they had, when they were carnivores. Okay, so at least that's in my experience. I try to look at things that are consistent with that, like hamburgers. Okay, well they came out with Beyond Meat. I'm like, oh, man, that's it. I don't ever need a hamburger anymore, right? Because I got the Beyond Meat. Okay, I got a Beyond Meat burger. Everybody's selling them now, so I don't need a hamburger anymore. So there you go. So yeah, we always look for things that are similar to what we had or similar to what we used to eat. But mushrooms are lighter, definitely that. But I mean, my whole diet is lighter too. So I don't eat a lot of heavy things anyway, other than like bread that maybe I shouldn't eat as much. But I understand they do have health properties, but I just don't know. Maybe I don't eat enough of the right ones, because I was looking at lion's mane, and lion's mane had some kind of health properties that some kind of vitamins or minerals or something that's in it that helps out your immune system or whatever. I'm like, do I eat enough of that? Am I eating the right part? So sometimes they condense it into like a capsule or whatever. Well, how many of these capsules do you need, or how much do I need to eat to get these health benefits or whatever? So, but no, do I necessarily feel different or better? No, I just think eating, vegetables and stuff like that. I mean, I think I feel lighter anyway. Things digest a little quicker, than normal. Not that everybody need to hear that, but you can get caught up in, no matter what you eat, and you can get caught up and you can gain weight and all this kind of stuff, right? So just because I don't eat meat doesn't mean I don't eat enough bread, or like desserts are still like, I made a vegan peach cobbler the other day, right? And the only thing that's not vegan necessarily in the peach cobbler is the butter that you use, right? So I use vegan butter. Well, I ate that whole darn peach cobbler. Okay, well, there's still some left, but the pan, I don't know, it was enough for about 3 or 4 people. Okay, but over the course, I don't eat it all in one sitting, of course, but a day since like Thanksgiving, I think I took 2 days off. I didn't eat any, but I make sure because I'm not throwing anything away. So, so yeah, it's vegan. It's made with vegan butter, but it has a lot of bread. It still has a lot of bread and carbs and stuff like that. So that's my issue. So, but I think that's always been my issue. Carbs has always been my issue. So, but anyway, yeah. But no, thanks for asking that question. I appreciate that. So, okay, Ace Hotel's hiring. Oh, you know what I made the other day? Chickpea cakes. Okay, so instead of crab cake, I made a chickpea cake. So just chickpea, come in a can. They also go by the name of garbanzo beans. Okay, so get a can, drain it, mash them up, where it's almost, I don't want to say like a paste, but you mash it up. You mix. I mix some seasoning, some onions, peppers, stuff like that, and then a little flour and a little Just Egg. Now, Just Egg is an egg substitute, okay? So pour a little bit on it so it'll bind together. Form the patty, cook them. You can bake them, or you can like lightly fry them or whatever in some olive oil. That stuff was dope, okay? It was the bomb. So yeah. So like I said, I try to veganize as much as I can. So when I see people eating crab cakes and whatever, I say, well, what can I use? Jackfruit, you can use the jackfruit. Okay. Chickpeas, I didn't even think about that until later on. There was something else that I had eaten that had chickpeas. I'm like, you know what? This chickpea thing is on to something. We're underestimating the chickpea. The chickpea has more going for it than we think. Okay. So don't sleep on the chickpea. Okay. Oh my God. Okay, we're winding down here. What do I do? I'm a hospitality personality. You can't have a show like this and not be somewhat of a personality. Okay, so there you go. A hospitality personality, but one that has a wealth of experience. So it's not just like I'm just talking about things and I really have no working knowledge of it. That's so far from the truth. I do have a lot of working knowledge of everything within the hotel, things within tourism, and of course non-meat eats because that's what I do. That's what I'm all about, the non-meat eats. So, but yeah, so that's hospitality personality. I do hotel site selection for companies, organizations that need assistance with planning their meetings, their events, their retreats, their conventions, their conferences. 10 rooms or more is considered a group, meaning 10 rooms coming in at one time on a peak night. So what does a peak night mean? So the first night is 10. The second two nights could be like 3, 5, whatever. But as long as one night out of the days that you're staying is 10 rooms or more, that's considered a peak night, and that's a group, 10 rooms or more. So I've done from 10 to 650 rooms on peak before. So, and I can 1,000. You just add a couple more, it'd be 1,000. That's not a big deal either. So, but yeah, so I do that as well. And I consult in that space as well. So people ask questions about, contracts and things like that. I mean, people ask me the darndest things about some of the contracts that they either have signed or they're about to sign. I'm like, no, don't sign that or take this thing out. So there's certain things that should be in contracts that hotels will put in. They can be addendums. They can be all kind of stuff in there, different language or whatever. So I look at that and make sure it makes sense and make sure that you need that in your contract. Because if, all contracts, what am I trying to say? Every language in a contract doesn't fit every group. Okay. So just remember that. So if it's a corporate group, there should be there should be certain language in there. If it's a SMERF group, meaning it's social, military, educational, religious, fraternal, whatever, it should have different language in there. Okay, if it's an association, it should have some different language. I mean, there's going to be some commonalities in there, but there's certain things that probably should not be in. If it's a family reunion, there's a lot of stuff that shouldn't be in there, right? Because you don't want to be responsible for a lot of things because your company's not paying for it. These are individuals are paying their own, right? So just remember those things, okay? Got questions? All you got to do is ask. Hospitality content creator, I said that's what I do. I create content for hotels, tourism, whatever brands you have out there, I create content for them. Doing lives is creating content. This is creating content. Talking about Hollywood, that's creating content for Hollywood, right? I'm promoting the heck out of Hollywood for the last hour, right? Did I get a check from them? No, I'm just joking. I love Hollywood. Hollywood. You notice how things are turning into a song now? Sales training for hotel general managers. I do that as well, right? So you get new GMs that maybe don't have a wealth of hotel sales experience. I have a PowerPoint that I can go over with them, bullet points, explain everything, how it works, from star reports to Hotelligence 360 reports to, your OTAs, what should be in your OTA page. What about your updated pictures? What about, there's a lot of things that you should look at as a GM as it relates to sales that sometimes we forget about, right? So, for people that don't know, it's an eye-opening thing. But for people that have been in the industry and maybe they didn't think about it, it's like, oh, that's right. I thought about that. I forgot about that. So yeah. So those are things that I do. Those are just some of the things that I do. But there you go. So you never would have known that unless you watched the show, right? Or you listen to some of my lives or watch my lives. So there you go. Boom. So that's why I always say people always should take advantage of what they, let people know what you do. And the best way to let people know what you do is to tell people. But how are you going to tell them? You can tell one at a time, or maybe you can tell 100 at a time. Doing a social media live, or like be a guest on someone's show or podcast or whatever. Anytime you get an opportunity to talk about yourself and your brand, take advantage of it. That's not being, oh, he's just being arrogant. No, that's taking care of your brand and your business, right? Because it affects what does it affect? Your pocketbook, dollars and cents. Okay, so there you go. One thing I always say, amongst other things, what are you doing to keep your brand relevant? Now, I just mentioned a myriad of things that I've done to keep my brand relevant. So, but what are you doing? This question is for you. You that person over there that's like, who is this guy? What's he talking about? Huh? What does he mean? What am I doing to keep my brand relevant? That's the one I'm talking to. right? So what are you doing to keep your brand relevant? And that's the question. You just answer to yourself. You don't have to answer to me. What are the three P's? Oh my gosh. I'm on a roll today. The three P's, and when I get to three P's, the show's about to end. So three P's: purpose, passion, perseverance. Purpose, know why you do what you do, right? I know why I do this show, right? I just talked about a lot of things that I do, and the purpose behind them, right? So I do the show because, first of all, the industry has been good to me, and I'm trying to give back to the industry, right? But I'm here to help hotels. I'm here to help tourism boards. I'm here to, to content create or to just let people, meeting planners, know what's going on within the industry. I mentioned that earlier during the show, right? So that's my purpose, to be a voice in the hospitality space. And every now and then I'll do a one-off, and I'll congratulate, Palo Verde High School on their CIF championship victory last week, right? And who they're playing this week in the state, right? So those are things. That's my purpose, to put information out there to people that maybe didn't even know that they even existed. Okay, so there you go. Passion. Either you have passion or you don't. And if you don't have passion for it, guess what you should do? Go do something else. Okay, and tell them Russell of Hotels told you that. And perseverance. Be consistent. Continue to evolve. Don't give up, and swerve when you need to. Okay, swerve. I use that in lieu of that P word that people use, and that's pivot. Everybody's pivoting. Oh, well, I just have to pivot and do this. No. On Air with Russell of Hotels, we never pivot, we swerve. Okay, it's a big difference. Okay, next week, come back next week, and I'll tell you what the big difference is. So anyway, that is it. I want to thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. This is my contact information. This was show number 185. I appreciate it. Come back for show number 186 next week, and you get more information about what's the difference between swerving and pivoting. Excuse me. But yeah, follow me on LinkedIn, IG, and YouTube, and make sure you subscribe. Just hit that little ping subscribe button on YouTube, and then you'll know when I do lives or this show and things like that. So you don't have to necessarily write it down somewhere. You just, it'll just tell you. You get a notification. Oh, Russell's live. Let me go check him out. At Russell of Hotels, that's my whatever ID, whatever you call it, my nickname. Russell at russellofhotels.com is my email, and I have a website, which is russellofhotels.com. So thank you guys so much for joining. Appreciate you guys. I don't take it lightly that you guys actually listen to me and watch me. For the people on the podcast, thank you so much. And you can listen to the podcast wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. Have a great day.
Please tune in every Tuesday at 1 p.m. as we talk to other hospitality professionals. Your feedback is important to Russell. Feel free to email him at russell@russellofhotels.com with any questions or suggestions. Until next time, try not to be a person of success. Rather, become a person of great value.